from Uttar Pradesh to what is turning out to be one of the most fascinating elections of 2022. Battleground Goa, smaller state but high intensity battle, because now you've got a situation where all the opposition parties seem to be at war with each other, all the non-BJP parties. Today, the Shiv Sena and NCP, allies of the Congress in the Maharashtra government, blamed the Congress for the failure of opposition unity in Goa. The Trinamool Congress has already accused the Congress of behaving like an emperor. The Congress says it's the biggest party in Goa. That's why it's fighting this election on its own against the BJP. Either way, opposition disunity in Goa is perhaps a pointer to the difficulties that the opposition is facing in forging a united stand towards the BJP. It's our top focus tonight.
The Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and Trinamool Congress. All three are in the fray in Goa to dislodge the BJP. The party in power there for 10 years now. But the battle everyone is talking about in Goa is the one within the opposition. The TMC built its party in the state by poaching leaders from the Congress. While a couple of them have returned to the grand old party to contest on its ticket, the fight is nowhere near its end. Congress insiders claim the TMC has fielded candidates from its strongholds.
This party from Bengal, I think the way they've come and the way they're operating doesn't seem to be that they are against BJP. It looks like their intentions are something very, very different. So the trust factor is not there. And they've been targeting Congress party. They've been targeting Goa Forward party. They're enduring defections from our parties. And then you come and suddenly say that let's shake hands. I don't understand, so it's very difficult.
People are leaving the Congress because they feel the Congress is not a platform that is adequate enough to defeat the BJP. This is the truth that the Congress must wake up to. We are not here, begging for arms from the Congress. We are saying, please come talk on the table to see how we can defeat the BJP. This is the need of the hour.
Congress's ally, Goa Forward Party, is also angry with the TMC.
Yesterday, they have declared a nomination of their most senior leader and the vice president of their party, a sitting Rajya Sabha member, as a candidate in Fatorda. And this agenda of splitting the non-BJP vote to benefit the BJP is getting exposed day in, day out. And the Goans want Goa to be free of the BJP.
What's more, the Congress allies in Maharashtra, the Shiv Sena and the NCP have formed their own alliance in Goa after their calls for a tie-up were ignored.
हमने कोशिश की कि महाराष्ट्र विकास आघाड़ी की तरह गोवा में भी एक आघाड़ी बने, प्रीपोल अलायंस। हमने कोशिश बहुत की, लेकिन मैंने कहा कि कांग्रेस नेताओं को लगता है कि उनको पूरा बहुमत अपनी ताकत पर मिल सकता है, तो हमारी उनको शुभकामनाएं हैं कि आप जरूर बहुमत लाकर आइए और सत्ता बनाइए।
Defections have become a common affair in Goa. 24 of 40 MLAs have switched parties during the last 5 years. The Congress has suffered the most in Goa, with most of its MLAs jumping ship over the period. While 2022 is being described as the semi-final before 2024, divisions among anti-BJP parties in Goa means that opposition unity remains a mirage for now.
With national and regional parties in fray, politicians change allegiances on a daily basis. The plan to have a united opposition against the BJP has failed. Only time will tell us whether this scattered opposition has helped BJP or not. With camera person Rakesh Salaskar, Mustafa Sheikh in Goa for India Today.
And joining me now is the former Union and Finance Minister and the Congress's senior election observer for Goa, Mr. P Chidambaram. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Chidambaram. You're going into this election in Goa, in particular fighting almost all your seats on your own, as a result of which the opposition seems to be almost at war with itself. Shiv Sena, NCP, even the TMC now saying that the Congress should have taken the lead in forging an alliance in Goa, a pre-poll Mahagathbandhan, rather than fight on their own, claiming this will only benefit the BJP. Is this a fair comment to make?
I'm afraid it may not be fair, because we did hold talks with the NCP and the Shiv Sena. And those talks, unfortunately, there was no meeting point. Even as late as day before yesterday, we were open to adjust the two parties, NCP and Shiv Sena. But unfortunately, there was no meeting point. As far as the TMC is concerned, the TMC has been poaching on our members, even while claiming to have made a concrete offer. I'll say it once and I won't repeat it. There was no concrete offer. There was a suggestion that we should work together, and we were waiting for a concrete offer. There was no concrete offer. In the meanwhile, they were poaching merrily on our members, including a declared candidate. And that, I think, created a big gap between the TMC and the Indian National Congress.
Okay, let me come one by one to what you've said, because we've got Mahua Moitra, the Trinamool Congress MP, who's been very vociferous publicly. She's handling Goa for the TMC, and she's saying Congress must get off its high horse and should not behave like the Emperor of India. How do you respond to that? The sense that the TMC is giving is that the Congress is arrogant when it comes to sharing of seats or any alliances.
I have no desire whatsoever to engage in a verbal exchange with the Honorable MP from Bengal. I am too small for that.
No, Mr. Chidambaram, come on. Somewhere, I mean, this, what she seems to suggest, forget the individual, this belief that the Congress still believes it is the Emperor of India, it has a divine right to rule, is what the assumption is. Forget the individual, but the larger message that the Congress believes that it still is the sole opponent of the BJP.
We have never believed that. We have never used any word hinting that kind of belief. And every word I've uttered was a measured word.
Mm-hmm. No, it may be measured, Mr. Chidambaram, but when the TMC claims that the two principals had met with each other, i.e. Mamta Banerjee and Sonia Gandhi had some kind of a conversation, that Mamta made an offer for an alliance, the Congress didn't respond. Is that false?
Well, I don't want to use the word false. I think it's not entirely accurate. And I have no instruction from my leadership that there was a concrete offer. In fact, to the best of my knowledge, there was no concrete offer, even while poaching was going on.
You're accusing the TMC of poaching on the Congress, and the TMC is not your formal ally. But what of the Shiv Sena, NCP, who are your allies in government in neighboring Maharashtra? Today, Priyanka Chaturvedi, Shiv Sena MP, says the decision of not taking other parties along is leading to disunity and will only help the BJP, referring to the Congress party. That the Congress should be taking the lead in forging alliances rather than expecting others to join.
I said, we tried. We tried very hard. We tried as late as day before yesterday. Sometimes when good friends try to meet each other, if there is no meeting point, what do? You remain good friends. But on this occasion, we cannot forge an alliance. We tried as late as day before yesterday.
But don't you agree, if the opposition isn't united, especially in a small state like Goa, where the vote can easily then get fractured in a multi-cornered contest, it's advantage BJP. If it's BJP versus a disunited opposition, it's advantage BJP.
I entirely agree with you. In fact, I use the word fractured, where everyone was using the word splitting of the votes or cutting of the votes. I use the word fracturing the non-BJP vote. But as far as the NCP and Shiv Sena, believe me, we tried.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about the Aam Aadmi Party? Because Arvind Kejriwal too has indicated that the Congress seems to believe that other parties are almost dependent on the Congress to take the lead against the BJP. The Aam Aadmi Party is a growing force, many believe, in Goa. Did you make an effort to reach out to them to have some understanding with the Aam Aadmi Party?
It can be said of both parties. I think pretty early it was clear that if Aam Aadmi Party is fighting the Congress in Punjab, in Uttarakhand, it's very unlikely that the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress can have an alliance in Goa when all three states are going to elections simultaneously. I think that is a no-brainer.
I'll come to those other states in the larger picture in a moment, but after the last elections in Goa, Mr. Chidambaram, 2017, 15 of the 17 Congress MLAs over a period of the last 5 years left your party. Most of them went to the BJP. Many became ministers. This seems to send out a message that the Congress is unable to keep its flock together and therefore is unable to really take on the BJP, nor will you sincerely tie up with smaller parties. So, is there a sense that the Congress needs to strategize better? Otherwise, you will struggle to take on a mighty force like the BJP.
Well, I didn't know that you were offering as a strategist to the Congress, be that as it may. You see, we were unable to keep our flock together in 2017 and 2019. That doesn't mean we will be unable to keep our flock together in 2022. We are wiser, we are more careful, and I've said what happened in 2017 to 2019, I regret it. It was a shameful episode, but I promise that that will not be repeated in 2022. We will take steps. I can't reveal those steps now. We will take steps to ensure that no Congress candidate will defect if he or she is elected in 2022. I'm pretty confident of that.
I don't know what, I really don't know what you can do to stop your flock after an election. You were the single largest party last time and yet you were unable to form the government, but you seem to have some mystery formula this time.
No, I don't have any great formula. All I'm saying is we are wiser after what happened in 2017 and 19. We have ensured to a large extent by going by the recommendations of the Bloc Congress Committee. By rough count, in the 37 seats of the Congress will contest, 30 candidates were actually recommended by the Bloc Congress Committee. And I have put loyalty as the first criterion for the Bloc Committee to recommend candidates. And I'm pretty sure that the Bloc workers, when they made the recommendation, kept loyalty as the most important criterion. So we have made a good beginning by choosing loyal Congress workers as our candidate.
Mr. Chidambaram, the bigger picture, whether it's UP, whether it's Uttarakhand, whether it's Punjab, whether it's Goa, Manipur, would I be right in saying the Congress's approach this time seems to be ekla chalo re? We are going to fight this election on our own, test how strong we are on the ground. Forget all these smaller parties. We will take on the BJP, even though statistics show that in direct Congress-BJP fights, the BJP seems to win most of the time.
Not necessarily. And anyway, I'm not competent to speak about Punjab and Uttarakhand and Manipur, but you will concede that in Punjab, we are the ruling party and everyone has already taken a column. There's nobody else to join our column in Punjab. Therefore, in Punjab, we have to necessarily fight in order to retain our government. In Uttarakhand, the fight is only between the Congress and the incumbent BJP. The AAP, of course, is an entrance. I don't deny that. But as I said, when AAP was fighting us in 3 states, it's no-brainer that you fight in 2 states and ally in 1 state. In Manipur, again, it's a straight fight between the Congress and the BJP. So while I'm not an expert on these 3 states, I think we keep those 3 states aside. I think by force of circumstances, in these 3 states, the Congress has to fight. And if there are one or two small parties there, I don't know if there are any, they will join the Congress party. But otherwise, the fight is only between the Congress and the BJP in Uttarakhand and Manipur, and in Punjab, by going by the newspaper reports, the fight seems to be between Congress and AAP.
But Mr. Chidambaram, you know, pre-poll you're going on your own. Is it possible both in Goa, possibly even in Punjab, that post-poll you could tie up with a party like AAP? Is that something that you're ruling out to keep out the BJP? Is the Congress's main aim to keep out the BJP?
I don't rule in anything. I don't rule out anything. But I was pretty interested in reading. It's an interesting comment which Mr. Arvind Kejriwal made, that post-election, he's willing to forge an alliance. It's a very interesting observation.
So that, in a sense, opens a window for you. But my final question, Mr. Chidambaram, would you agree that 2022 is some kind of a battle for who will be the challenger to the BJP in 2024, and to the Congress in particular, a serious challenge to remain the main opposition party, an existential battle almost? You need to win Punjab, you need to win another state. Otherwise, parties like the TMC or indeed the Aam Aadmi Party could well claim, why can't we be the main challenger to the BJP? Why the Congress?
I don't agree with the popular assessment that this is a semi-final to 2024. In fact, the states which are going to elections certainly don't lay the pitch for a semi-final. I'll tell you why. In Punjab, the biggest of the states, the fight is not with the BJP. The BJP is nowhere in the picture. The fight is between Congress and AAP. And if at all, Akali Dal, but not with the BJP. Therefore, it's not a semi-final in that sense between Congress and BJP. In Uttarakhand and Goa, they are reasonably small states. I don't dismiss them as small states. I'm saying they are small states. They are not the correct pitch on which you can call it a semi-final. Manipur, again, is a very different pitch. The real pitch is the northern and central Indian states, starting from Rajasthan, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. That's the real pitch where we can say it will be a semi-final between Congress and BJP. But none of those states are going to election in February.
No, but you're saying semi-final between Congress and BJP. The parties like TMC, parties like Aam Aadmi will say that if the Congress is unable to defeat the BJP, give us a chance.
But TMC is not in the picture. TMC is not in 4 of these 5 states. TMC is only trying to expand its footprints in Goa. I wish them well. They are my old friends. But I'm afraid they won't be able to make any headway in Goa in February 2022. So I don't think the TMC also regards these 5 state elections as an opportunity to show its strength.
I will ask you one last time. If the worst case scenario for the Congress, you don't win a single of these 5 states, will it then lead to the implosion of the Congress? Will there be serious questions then over your leadership, your strategy, your entire identity? No way.
The demise of the Congress has been predicted several times over the last 135 years. The demise of the Congress was predicted even immediately after independence, then when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru passed away, then when Srimati Indira Gandhi was assassinated. The Congress has lost elections, Congress has won elections. I'm not happy that the Congress loses elections. We have to set many things in our house in order. But the Congress has deep roots in Indian society, has a very deep impression on the minds of Indian people. History and our record of governance gives us an advantage. So while we may lose an election, we may win an election, please don't predict the demise of the Congress. The Congress is a living organization it will continue to remain a living organization.
So in that worst case scenario, if you do badly, no questions about Rahul Gandhi's leadership. If you do badly in Uttar Pradesh, no questions over Priyanka Gandhi Vadra's strategy, none of that. The Congress will continue to live to fight another day.
No, you are bringing in completely extraneous matters. You asked me whether the Congress, the demise of the Congress can be written. I said no. But you're now bringing in individuals. The Congress is an organization. Individuals hold various responsibilities and discharge various functions from time to time. And we're not discussing individuals here. So please don't bring individuals into the organization.
Okay, let's leave it there, Mr. Chidambaram. You remain confident, it appears, that the Congress will, as an organization, live to fight another day and is in this battle of 2022. Thanks very much for joining me here on the news today.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajdeep. Thank you.